Good afternoon. Welcome to Inside Indiana Sports Now with Kent Sterling. It's Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. We're brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry, including the wonderful, the magnificent Dr. Mike O'Neill. He's been my dentist the last 28 years. That was when I decided to take control of my dental health. You should do the same. Make the call. Make an appointment with Dr. Mike. 317-849-2933 is the number. Punch subscribe, hit like, ring the bell. Let's go. Let's talk about sports. Find out some things about the Colts today. We're going to talk about the Colts, and then we're going to talk to Corey Kispert from Gonzaga. He was in town for a Pacers pre-draft workout today, and Ziaire Williams, the freshman out of Stanford, also in town for a pre-draft workout. We'll talk to both those guys coming up in a little bit. What we found out from the Colts have made it known to the players that they would prefer that they get vaccinated. We also found out that media members have to be vaccinated, and in order to cover the team, you have got to have testing done every 2 weeks. Not the instant test, but the test where the swab goes up the nose, it gets sent away, and you find out whether you've been exposed to COVID-19 or not. And when we're in the presence of players, got to mask up. That's the way it is. Social distancing, masking, that is going to be the protocol at least into the regular season. In the press box, the media members aren't going to have to wear masks, but when they are around the team in the media room after games, got to mask up. That's the way it is. Got to keep people safe. That's including the media, right? So, found that out. We also found out today from ESPN's Adam Schefter that the Colts and Darius Leonard are working on an extension that would keep Darius with the Colts for the next 4 seasons at a cost of over $19 million a year. It is fascinating to me how this team is being built, how this roster has been constructed by Chris Ballard, and how the decisions are being made to retain guys. We remember the days of Bill Polian, most of us, as the general manager. Bill Polian had some rules. You paid for tackles, you paid for the starting quarterback, you paid for wide receivers, right? You paid for edge rushers. Everybody else was kind of disposable, right? And that included linebackers. We saw guys like Peterson and Washington and Cato June and others kind of cycle through. They played well. Polian didn't want to sign him to extensions because he didn't value the position at the same level he did others. And with the salary cap, you couldn't invest everywhere. So offensive guards, gone, right? Linebackers, gone. Offensive guards here, they get extensions. Quentin Nelson is going to sign a huge extension. Darius Leonard apparently also going to sign a huge extension, and the details of that extension are being worked out as we speak. He's a 2-time All-Pro. He's going to make $3.4 million this year. All of a sudden, the Colts, because of that terrific draft, right, in 2018, they're going to have to start ponying up for guys that they already had on the team that were done on the cheap through the draft and through that first contract window. Now they're going to have to invest in those guys, so they're going to have less money to spend on free agents. $24 million a year for Carson Wentz, $19+ million a year for Darius Leonard, whatever Quentin Nelson's going to cost. You got a lot of guys who are going to make a lot of money here in Indianapolis, and it's not going to be as easy. The math is not going to be as easy for Chris Ballard to execute as it was during the first 4 years of his tenure here in Indianapolis. Going to be fascinating times. Watching how he puts all this together, how he does the math to make that jigsaw puzzle work, to fit into a championship kind of thing, amalgam. Isn't it? I think it's going to be fascinating. I can't wait to see what he does. This morning, ESPN has spent a lot of time talking about the first all-female broadcast crew for a Major League Baseball team. And I wanted to talk about that because I don't think it necessitates the amount of airtime ESPN has devoted to it. But my rule is, and the reason I don't like it, is because it's the media talking about the media. And media congratulating media, I think is just horrible. I think it's terrible practice. It is so self-serving and shows a level of self-immersion that really, really makes me nervous. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. What am I doing? I am doing virtually the same thing. I am the media talking about the media, and where does it end? So I decided to make it end myself. You know, what are you going to do? So I thought I'd bring it up because I thought, you know what, we got to draw the line someplace. But I want to mention it, so I did it. I couched it kind of in this little place where I'm chastising myself for even thinking about talking about it. How about that? The Pacers, like I said, had a pre-draft workout today. You had 6 guys there. Gonzaga grad Corey Kispert, the best shooter in the draft, he was involved. So was Ziaire Williams. And they could not be more different as players that the Pacers are looking at. Corey Kispert, you know what you're getting. You're getting the best shooter in the draft, a guy who's going to be a role player and is going to spread defenses and knock down shots. You know what he's going to be. Very high floor, kind of a low ceiling, right? You know the bandwidth in which he resides. Then you've got Ziaire Williams out of Stanford, who is a way high ceiling guy and a way low floor guy. He could be a complete bust in this draft. He could be an absolute stud in this draft as we look back on it in 3 or 4 years. I don't know which that he's going to be. And you get the feeling that neither do people who do mock drafts, neither do general managers with NBA teams, but it only takes one to invest heavily and then see how you turn out. You know what I mean? Like a few years ago, back in 2013, that's the way it was with the Greek Freak, right? Giannis Antetokounmpo taken 15th overall after he couldn't make a roster for the best league in his native Greece. The Bucks said, you know what? We'll take a shot. The Bucks, they won an NBA championship last night in large part because, and let's face it, without Antetokounmpo, I don't even know if the Bucks are a playoff team. But with Antetokounmpo and his 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, they won an NBA championship last night. So anyway, here's part of the conversation that I had earlier today with Corey Kispert. As athletic as you are, why basketball? Why not baseball? Why not football? What was the thing that drove you to basketball?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was what I was best at. So like I tended to like it more. But then, winters are, they're not as, they're pretty cold and rainy up where I'm from. So, and it's pretty rainy the rest of the year too. So being outside and playing football or playing baseball, you had to deal with the rain a lot. So I like going into a dry gym and making that happen. And then the more I played, the more I fell in love with it. So, it definitely turned out to be the right choice.
Can you talk for a minute about Mark Few and what kind of a relationship you two have and how important he is to that program and to the kids who go to Gonzaga?
Yeah, he's the architect of it all, really. He's anything from the culture to the fan base to the kind of kids that he recruits. It's all because of Coach Few. And he and I have a really good relationship. It started out, I really didn't, he really got under my skin a lot starting out as a freshman and sophomore. That's just because he wanted me to be better, clearly. And he would tell me that, but, as I matured and as my game matured, I started to really appreciate it for what it was, the constructive criticism that he would give me. And, now he and I are as close as we've ever been. And I really appreciate everything he's done for me on and off the floor as a player.
Ultimately, what kind of NBA player do you want to be? And what do you want to get out of the NBA other than the obvious, which is, money? Everybody wants to get paid.
Yeah. I've had so much fun over my career, just getting better and seeing myself knock off goals off my to-do list and really pursue being the best player that I can. And that comes with, how many points I score, or rebounds, or winning percentage, or championships. All that, you can mark that in so many different ways. So I'm really looking forward to making those next steps, becoming a better player, and then a more, well-rounded and mature person. I'm looking forward to moving out wherever I go. I've never lived outside of the state of Washington, so that's going to be fun. And then, just being able to travel and play in these big arenas and play these big games is really, really special.
That's Corey Kispert, who could be available at 13 when the Pacers draft in just 8 days. My favorite question to ask prospective draftees is how nervous they are about the prospect of being drafted, not just by a team, but to a city that's going to become their new hometown for the foreseeable future? You can guess what I asked Ziaire Williams a little bit earlier today. How weird is it to know that in 8 days you're going to have your new hometown selected for you, the place you're going to live for 5 years at least?
Man, it's like I said, it's crazy. It still hasn't hit me yet, man. I have just so many, it's like so many different just feelings, I'm excited though, I'm so excited for what the future has ahead of me. And I'm just curious, I'm curious, like I'm sure you guys are, it's going to be interesting. Shoot, I would love to be with the Pacers, you know what I mean? It's a great organization over here. So I don't know, man. It's like I said, I'm not trying to just worry about it too much. I'm still trying to finish out these workouts strong and, keep my body healthy, keep eating right, staying hydrated, and just waiting for that day to come. Whatever happens, God's going to make it happen. So I'm just trusting his plan.
Fieldhouse Files Scott Agnes also asked a really good question of Williams, and I'd like to share that question and the answer to it.
I want to know about the influence from your parents, both in the military. Like, how has that shaped you and, impacted you daily? Are you, of that?
Man, it's made me who the man I am today. It's always been a high standard, a high level of respect, loyalty, of discipline, of working for your team. They've always told me, you're only as strong as your weakest link, so I always try to encourage everyone on the staff, from first man to last, and just be the most respectful person I can, just represent, myself, my team, my organization, my parents, to the best of my ability.
All right, that's Corey Kispert. Ziaire Williams had a few other guys at the workout today as well, Sam Hauser among them. We assume that the workouts are going to continue. Maybe there'll be a couple more, and we'll see who the Pacers talk to. And then ultimately, we'll see next Thursday night who the Pacers select with the 13th overall pick, or if they choose to trade up in the draft. Anybody who heard the interview on Zoom when the Pacers worked out Moses Moody, they love Moses Moody. And for good reason. If you saw Arkansas play, or if you kind of dig into the tape, as you see that the Pacers may select Moody, and you watch him and you see the length and the generosity with the basketball and the understanding of the game, you fall in love with that kid. We'll see who the Pacers take a week from tomorrow. It's going to be fascinating, and I'm so bummed because usually it's one of my favorite nights of the year. We go down to the St. Vincent Center, the media all hangs out together, we watch the Pacers draft, and then we get to talk via teleconference with the person that they draft. We get to hear from Kevin Pritchard and others. It's kind of a fun night, and because of COVID, we don't get to do that anymore, and it kind of bums me out, but it'll still be fun to watch, take part in the Zoom calls and all that stuff. Just fascinating times for the Indiana Pacers, who I'm telling you are not as far away from an NBA championship as it might appear. Look at what the Bucks did, right? The Bucks, they won 56 games, which put, or 46 games, which puts them at a level that over an 82-game season, they would have won about 53 games. I think this Pacers team, with somebody taking at 13 who can flat play, re-signing TJ McConnell, bringing everybody back, potentially, all the starters, some of the primary bench people like the Holiday brothers, Goga Batadze, right? This is a team that I think, if healthy, can win 53 games. And if you can win 53 games, you can raise some hell in the playoffs. We'll see what this Pacers team does year one under Rick Carlisle. Last time Rick Carlisle was the head coach of the Pacers, year one, what did they do? They won 61 games in the regular season, 61-21, and then they were eliminated by the Pistons, who went on to win the NBA championship. We'll see what happens with this unit for 2021-2022, and how that 13th pick is going to inform exactly who and what the Pacers are going to be. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Breakfast with Kent, bright and early, 8 o'clock on YouTube, and then immediately thereafter on Facebook Live too.